Okay, so welcome everyone, and we are Team Scout. So we'll start the pitch with our first speaker, who's Harun. He'll be talking about the problem we are tackling here. Harun, if you can take over the stage.
As Deepan said, I'm going to speak about the problems that the organization is going to address. The first and foremost problem that we're going to address is financial pressure. As we all know, college tuition fees are getting extortionate with the inclination in competition and standards. Thus, financial pressure has become a sole reason for many students to drop out from colleges, as everyone is not fortunate to afford the expenses. Let's look at some statistics. An estimated half of India's population earns less than 5,000 rupees per month. And the second one is in the US, more than 56% of the students can no longer afford their tuition tab. In India, education is free until only secondary level. This is the reason many students drop out. That is 20.8% of the students drop out after completing the secondary level of education. And the second problem that we are going to address is lack of opportunities. There are many people across the globe who excel in academics and they're talented but are not given enough opportunities to make it big in life. For example, Binod is an aspiring graphic designer who resides in a small, underdeveloped region. Binod suffers as he faces lack of opportunity and exposure. Because of this, his dreams and aspirations are clouded. Now, I would like Deepan to continue the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Harun. So before we look at the actual statistics out there, we thought we would get statistics of our own. So we did our basic primary research. So we created a Google form asking three very basic questions, and we sent out to around 20 to 30 people in our friend circles and relatives to just answer these questions. So here are the three questions we asked them. That is starting off from, yes, here. What, according to you, might be the leading cause for college dropouts? So blue color being the major contribution in the chart says lack of funds and financial pressure. Then you have other stuff like lack of opportunities. Then you have work than make money and less concerns towards studies. So then we ask the next question: what might be the best way to reduce dropout rates? So we gave options. We gave two options, and then we asked for an extra opinion, but we could not get an extra opinion, so we had to choose between the two. So you can clearly see that majority had chosen that you can provide scholarships like funds and subsidies and all that kind of stuff. Then encouragement through programs. So we can see there's no advertisements here. And then we asked the question, the important question, that is, say you're a student struggling financially, would you be ready to work for an organization of an agreed period of time after the completion of your course if you are guaranteed a scholarship? Majority have said yes. So you might be thinking 17.6 is a very high percentage to say no, and that is totally because of our sample. Like if we had given this to, let's say, 1,000 people, the percentage of saying no would have definitely come down, because 1 out of a 10 is still 10%, which looks like a big amount. So that was our survey and research. So now let's come to our idea. So we are Scout, and Scout is a social platform where students can make their own personal account to showcase their skills and talents. So let's see some features. Scout will partner up with small sized, medium sized companies, and even at the later stage, in the far perspective, multinational corporations. So partner companies of ours, employers, may browse through the database of our students, which we have in our platform. So based on skill preference, the employer can sign an agreement with a specific student of their preference who they think will be beneficial for their company. The student will then be funded by a scholarship, either partially or wholly, or even a little amount, provided by the company on the agreement that they shall work for their company for a given period of time after finishing their respective course. So you have to keep in mind here that the employer is funding a high school graduate, not a college person, for them to continue their higher studies in their universities. So that's not the only thing we are going to use our app for. It's not, we could say, a platform. So here's some other applications. So if a company requires an employee to be hired immediately, like instantly, they can browse through our general category of users, which includes profiles of students with degrees who you might want to hire as temporary on a contract, etc. And then you can also use a platform as a search engine by whom it could be state or national teams who are wanting to recruit like talented people in different aspects in different fields. Let's say the Indian national team is putting together an academic decathlon, so you need people who are good in a specific subject. Rather than just go ahead with the schools near you or go by the board marks to find people, they can browse through our database to find people who are actually talented and show their talent in different ways other than just marks, right? So there could be people who have won some competitions before, etc. So Scout can also be used for part-time jobs and internships, as these are immediately accessible and not always requires a degree. So these are some applications of our company. So next we will have Emmanuel taking us through with how we plan to attract attention.
Okay, thank you, Deepan. And now this is an important problem that all startups face in the beginning. How can we attract attention of people? How can we attract them to a service or the product that you're creating? The first step is setting up awareness campaigns. We'll be focusing majorly in India, so we'll be setting up awareness campaigns all throughout. And then the next main thing is social media platforms. Everybody is on social media, be it one or the other, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. We'll be giving advertisements all over, and also we'll be providing a special offer for the first few initial students who will be registering. This will increase our chances of attracting attention. Then the next is spreading word amongst friends and relatives. People might think that it is not a particularly efficient method, but just think about this. When the employer sponsors a student and he goes to a college, all friends, his peers, his teachers, and his family and relatives will be knowing about how Scout and this particular employer has helped him to receive this advanced education. And this create goodwill among the people on which you put. And in this way, these teachers will think that might be other students who need their help, and they will spread the word. Finally, attracting attention from more students to join Scout. And finally, what we'll be doing is we'll be using a partner companies to advertise. This is beneficial for us and for them, because if they give advertisement to our company Scout, in turn they'll be attracting more students to join. More students means a bigger pool of talent for them to search from and find the perfect future employee. Okay, deep into the next slide. Okay, now the next important question will be, why will the employers, why will companies want to sponsor these enrolled students? Nowadays, we all know for sure that students from these big colleges like IITs and all, they can be easily swayed to work for big companies like Google and Facebook just by throwing around their big names. They don't need to bring in very big salary offers or anything like that. But the real fact is that companies nowadays prefer skilled and multitasking employees over those with higher marks and better degrees, because those skilled employees increase the productivity of the company much greater than ones with higher marks and better degrees can. Once a company is directly sponsoring the students, they'll be able to directly guide them in a way that they can only the knowledge that is and other skills that will help the student in the future, and also will help the student or the future employee of the company to increase their productivity. For example, an MNC will prefer an employee with better communication and oratory skills in the executive board, or introvert employee with a higher degree. So with real life scenario, imagine you're a school and you're taking in teachers for English to teach English literature position. Okay, we will always prefer a teacher who can explain it well to the students, even though they might be having a degree from a lower level college, rather than someone from high level college who cannot relay the information to the students. Okay, so that's it for me, and now I'll be giving over the stage to Ananya to talk about why not a conventional interviewing method.
Okay, so now we'll talk about why not use a conventional interviewing method. So you'd think, why do you need a platform for this, and why can't companies just continue, interviewing people like the way they do? Well, according to the 2016 Human Capital Benchmarking Report, it was said that companies spending an average of 42 days to fill a position and $4,000 to $129 per hire. So that is a lot of money and a lot of time that goes into hiring a new employee. So in the diagram, you can also see that 14% of a manager's time is spent on hiring people to work, and 90% of the new employees decide whether to stay within 6 months. So what that means is that they're spending so much time and money in hiring a person, and they're not even guaranteed the fact that if they're going to stay in the company or not. So rather than each company having to invest such a large amount of time without being sure if the employee has the right skills, if they're going to stay, etc., they can sponsor students. They can guide them, help them develop required skills, and mold them into the employee that they want. So they can assure them a well-educated and skilled employee and ensure them that they are the right fit for their company. So now I'll pass over to Simran to talk about the enrollment of the students.
So the next big question that we have is, why will the students want to use our platform, Scout? So firstly, getting an educational degree is always safe because it ensures a bright and a secure future. Secondly, even though the students will be working for a salary that is less than the others, what they do gain is job experience, which is very helpful in the long run. Also, lastly, along with the job experience, the degree in hand, the students can use these elements to become financially independent even after their contract with us is over. So the next speaker will be talking about how the partner companies will be profiting from this.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about why our idea is logically and financially consistent, which becomes a major question at this point. Here are our points to that question. Firstly, the employer compensates for a scholarship by a reduction in the salary for the contract period. So this is like basically a safer method of getting a student loan. You're assured a job as well as you're assured this is from a safe source. And secondly, the employer can cut costs and save time on the entire process of interview and selection. As Ananya mentioned earlier, a company spends around 42 days to find a appropriate employee. So all the time is saved. And then the employer can critically improve the functioning of their company by admitting people skilled in a variety of fields. Again, as mentioned before, the company can directly influence the students to develop certain skills they want, and thereby employing a better person. So I'll pass on the mic to the next speaker.
Okay, next we'll be talking about how we plan to make profit and where will we be getting our funds from. So the main sources of income for us will be the annual subscription, which will be given by the students when they sign up for our platform. Next, it will be the annual subscription, which will be given by the employers while they use our platform to search for prospective employees. And lastly, it will be sponsorship. Now, coming to our expenses, because we are operating online, we do not have any expenses such as on hard or manual labor. So we save a lot on that. The only expenses that we do have is web development and the maintenance and updates that go into making our platform constantly improving so that it's easier for the students as well as the employers. So the next speaker will be talking about our plan, that is our strategy.
Well, this is a plan or strategy of concept. We start off by spreading the news about Scout to the social media pages and friends. And then we branch out and gather volunteers to join our platform as students with very low or no subscription for the initial stages, because we want to build a foundation with people in the beginning. And with a team of members, seek out for companies that are ready to sign up with us. And then with the help of the present users, diversify and get more subscribers and repeat the process for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. So this is just our basic strategy of how it works.
Okay, so finally we are in our business model canvas. So let's just quickly summarize everything that we have talked about till now with this one chart. So let's start off with who are our customer segments? Who are we targeting? Who is our audience? So definitely we have students, we have employers, and now we are talking about government and private institutions because our platform is really open to anyone who is looking for a way to recruit talent and skills. So it's open to any field. So then let's look at our key partners. So who will we be partnering up with? So we'll partner up with schools. We could have our schools as a representative to, hire students batch by batch to encourage our platform in their way. And then we'll have small and medium-sized companies, multinational corporations at the later stage, as we have said previously, and other job vacancy platforms. So what's our value propositions? What are we trying to spread here? So what we are giving is basically the right to education. And we are also showing the future of employment. And our key activities. So our main activities over here, as we have mentioned, is there's no physical work. There's no much of any transportation of goods or anything like that in the initial stages, at least. So our key activities are just going to be development of online website and servers and regular analysis of data, keeping in touch with the students, with the employers, checking upon the performance of students and all that kind of data analysis. So our resources, where we plan to get our investments, our resources from. So since we have said that our expenses are like close to negligible, we are primarily depending on our personal investment from all our 10 team members, and we plan to branch out. And also we are planning to get funds from investors by going out and searching. Since we are situated in India, it's a very diverse country with a lot of opportunities for startups. So we are very hopeful that we will get. And then we come to channels. How do we plan on providing the services that we are giving? So the definite answer will be online service. Then there's websites, mobile apps. We have already developed a very basic app, which we can, I cannot exactly screen share it right now because it's not published, right? I will send the screenshots. And then we have our email address. So customer relationships is basically to provide a medium for students to showcase their skills. Okay, now let's come to the two crucial parts, which is cost structure. We told our expenses are almost nothing. So we have cost for developing the website and cost for advertising the startup. We need to advertise our idea a lot, right? So that might cost us a little. So, and finally we have, okay, there's a typo over here. This was supposed to be revenue. Okay, our revenue is going to be annual subscriptions for both employees and students, and sponsorships and collaborations. So this was our business model canvas. And here's our team members. So we are done with our presentation, but if you can hang on for a minute, I'll also show the slide, the website which we have prepared. And the reason I cannot send the link to this website is because it's not published in the internet. It's a program written, and I can share that to you right now. So if you can see, this is our website. The future of a student starts here, and it's bold. So you can read about us. Anyone who is interested and can take the effort of extracting a zip folder and running the program, please message us in our Instagram ID. We will send the link to you. So here's our vision. You can contact us here. We have general inquiries, and this is our team. We have 10 members, and the most important part is the logins for student and employer. So we have the employer login. Make your account, login, and you have a clear dashboard of every student you're hiring and a detailed analysis of how they are performing, how much money you're spending on it, how much you need to keep up. Like for example, let's consider this is a random company's dashboard, and they have currently sponsored 1,406 students. The quantity of money being given to them can be totally varying. However, these are the amount of students they are sponsoring. There are 1,608 requests pending, and 425 are already employed. So you can see UCLA, there are 28 students from this company, and this is the total amount of money spent on all those students. And then you have search bar to search for students. Since we are looking at students who are financially insecure, we might search by caste, we might search by religion, the companies can. And then they can search talent among every place across the country. And we even have plans on branching out internationally after everything is done. So that's the end of our presentation. And thank you for listening.